You felt it, didn't you? That moment late at night, scrolling, when everything suddenly felt off. Not wrong in an obvious way, just wrong enough to make you pause. And then you kept scrolling. That's the part that matters, not the feeling. The fact that you ignored it, because you've done this before, more times than you can count. That quiet voice in your head, something isn't right, and almost instantly it disappears, replaced by another video, another thought, another distraction, like it was never there, but it was there. And the fact that it disappeared so fast should bother you more than it does, because that wasn't. You think you're just distracted, you think it's your attention span, you think it's normal. It's not. There's something happening in the background of your life. Not dramatic, not obvious. That's why you didn't notice it sooner. It's in the repetition. The same content, the same reactions, the same opinions, recycled over and over again. Different faces. Same thoughts. And if you pay close enough attention, you'll notice something uncomfortable. You've repeated them to. Not because you're stupid. Not because you don't think. Because it was easier. And because no one ever told you. You were being trained. Not forced. Not controlled in an obvious way. Guided. Slowly. Quietly. So naturally. You never question it. Think about this. When was the last time you sat in silence, without reaching for something? Your phone, music, a video, anything. Just silence. No input. No distraction. It's harder than it should be, isn't it? That's not a coincidence, because silence is where things start to break. Silence is where you notice the pattern, and the system doesn't like that. Not because there's someone watching you. Not because of some dramatic conspiracy, but because the entire structure depends on one thing: you staying unaware, not completely asleep. Just distracted enough, because distracted people don't ask questions, and questions are dangerous. Have you ever had a thought that felt too real? Something that didn't come from a video, or a post, or something you heard, something deeper. Uncomfortable. Clear. And then you dismissed it, not because it was wrong, but because it didn't fit. Didn't fit your routine. Didn't fit what everyone else thinks. Didn't fit the version of reality you've accepted. So you pushed it away. That wasn't logic. That was conditioning. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most of what you believe wasn't discovered by you. It was repeated to you. Carefully. Gradually. Over years, until it stopped feeling like influence and started feeling like identity. Your opinions. Your fears, your limits. Where do you think they came from? Because if you trace them back far enough, you'll notice something. They didn't start with you. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. That hesitation before you speak honestly. Not fear. Programming. That doubt that appears right when you're about to do something different. Not logic. A pattern. That urge to check your phone for no reason. Not a trigger. And the worst part, you think it's you. You think these thoughts are yours. You think these reactions are yours. You think this version of yourself is completely original. It's not. It's built layer by layer, input by input, reaction by reaction. And the system didn't need to control you. It just needed you to repeat it. Because once you repeat something enough, you defend it. Even if it's limiting you, even if it's not true. That's how deep it goes. You don't just follow patterns, you protect them. Now stop for a second. Look at your last 24 hours. How many things did you do without thinking? How many times did you reach for your phone? How many thoughts were automatic? How many reactions felt instant? That's structured. And once you start seeing the structure, everything feels different. People become predictable. Reactions become obvious. Patterns become visible. And then you look at yourself. And that's where it hits. Because you realize you're not outside of it, you're inside it. The same patterns. The same loops. The same predictable reactions, just more personal. And suddenly it's not interesting anymore. It's uncomfortable. Because now you're not just observing the system. You're seeing how it runs through you. That voice in your head, the one telling you what to do, what to say, what to avoid. Is it really yours, or is it an echo of everything you've been exposed to? Because once that question appears, everything shifts. Not instantly, but permanently. You start noticing things you didn't notice before. How fast your attention gets pulled, how easily your emotions change, how predictable your own behavior becomes. When you step back. And for the first time, you're not just living your life, you're watching it. And that's where the tension begins. Because now you can't fully go back. You can still scroll, still laugh, still pretend everything is normal, but there's something in the background now. Watching. And it doesn't turn off. That awareness stays. Quiet. But present. And the more you notice it, the stronger it gets, until ignoring it takes more effort than facing it. And most people never reach that point. They feel it for a second, and then they escape back to noise, back to distraction, back to comfort. Because what's on the other side of that awareness isn't clarity. It's responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. Because once you see the pattern, you can't pretend it's not there. You can ignore it, but you'll know. And now you're at that edge, right between distraction and awareness. So before you go, ask yourself something honestly. Do you actually want to see the truth? Or do you just want to feel like you're close to it? Because those are not the same thing. And what comes next will force you to choose, because the truth they're not telling you isn't just about the world. It's about you. And once you see how deep it goes, you won't be able to go back to who you were before. You didn't leave. Most people do. They feel that tension for a second, that quiet pressure building behind their thoughts, and they escape, back to scrolling, back to noise, back to something that makes them forget. But you stayed, which means you're already seeing it, just not clearly yet. So let's stop softening it. Let's say it exactly as it is. The truth isn't hidden from you. It never was. It's filtered, not deleted, not locked away, not protected behind some secret. Filtered. And that changes everything. Because a filtered reality doesn't feel fake. It feels complete. That's why you never question it. Think about your day. The videos you see, the posts you scroll past, the opinions that feel obvious. You didn't choose most of them. They were selected for you, not randomly. Precisely. Based on what holds your attention, what triggers you, what keeps you watching. That's how it starts. Not by controlling what you think, but by controlling what you see. And if something never reaches you can't question it. It might as well not exist. That's the level this operates on. Not information. Attention. Your attention is not just valuable. It's everything. Because whatever you focus on becomes your reality. And right now, your attention is being trained. Every scroll, every notification, every perfectly timed video that shows up exactly when you're bored, tired, or vulnerable, that's not luck. That's design. You think you're choosing, but most of the time you're reacting. And reaction is predictable. That's why patterns form. That's why behaviors repeat. That's why millions of people suddenly care about the same thing at the same time. They're not being told what to think. They're being nudged. And nudges don't feel like control. They feel like you. That's the trick. Now look at something simple. How many times today did you open your phone without thinking? Not because you needed to. Not because you decided to. Just automatically. That's conditioning. A trigger gives a reaction, gives a reward, over and over again, until it stops feeling like a habit and starts feeling like identity. I just do this. Double quotes. No. You were trained to do this. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. You didn't just adapt to the system. You became part of it. Every time you react without thinking, you reinforce it. Every time you repeat something you didn't question, you spread it. Every time you follow a pattern just because it feels familiar, you strengthen it, not just for yourself, for everyone connected to you. That's how it scales. Not from the top down. From the inside out. Which means the system doesn't just exist around you. It exists through you. Sit with that for a second. Because this is where most people stop. They don't want to go further. Because now you can't blame something external. You can't say, it's them, it's the system, it's the algorithm. Because the moment you see it clearly, you realize you've been both the user and the mechanism. And that realization, that's heavy. because it removes the illusion of distance, but it also gives you something rare, a real choice, not what to watch, not what to click, not what to consume. Something deeper. What do you give your attention to? When you realize attention shapes everything, because now you can see the difference between reacting and noticing the reaction, between being pulled and choosing to pause. Between thinking and watching your thoughts form. And that pause, even if it's just a second, changes everything. Because in that moment you interrupt the pattern. You don't follow it, you see it, and once you see it, it loses power, not completely, but enough to create space. And in that space you get something most people never experience. Control. Not over the world, over your attention. Try this right now. Next time you feel the urge to check your phone, don single quotes t. Just pause. For 5 seconds. And watch the urge. Don't act. Just observe it. That feeling, that tension, that pull, that's the system. Not outside you, inside you. In the moment you can see it without reacting. You're no longer fully inside it. You're aware. And awareness is dangerous, because once that gap appears, it grows. You start noticing everything. What pulls you, what triggers you, what tries to control your focus without asking. You start asking different questions, not what is happening, but why am I seeing this? Not what do I feel, but who benefits from me feeling this? Not what should I do, but what happens if I don't react? And those questions break patterns. Slowly. Quietly. But permanently. That's why most people never get here. Not because it's hidden. Not because it's complex. Because it requires something uncomfortable: responsibility. For your attention. And most people would rather believe they're being controlled than realize they've been participating. Because one feels easier. The other changes everything. Because once you take control even slightly, the entire system starts to lose its grip. The same content feels weaker. The same triggers stop working. The same patterns become obvious. And once something is obvious, it can't control you the same way. That's the shift. Not escaping the system, seeing it clearly enough that it stops deciding for you. And here's the part no one says out loud: the system doesn't need to disappear for you to be free. You just need to see it clearly enough that it stops running automatically. And once that happens even a little, you can't go back. You can scroll. You can distract yourself. You can pretend it's not there, but a part of you will always see it now. In every impulse, in every reaction, in every moment, something tries to pull you without asking. And sometimes you'll still follow it, but other times you'll pause, and that pause, that's where your real life begins. Not the one shaped for you, not the one suggested to you, the one you actually choose, moment by moment, attention by attention. And now, here's the truth you won't be able to forget. From this moment on, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. In yourself. In others. In everything you consume. And once you see it, you'll realize something unsettling. It was always there, you just weren't meant to notice.